family. Welcome to the Reiki Healing Hope community. If you're new to the community, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, please join the Sunday 11:11 distance healing group. You can sign up for that in the description box. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to do a traditional Reiki healing. So, as we do usually, do I have your permission to say a prayer? Okay. May I take your hands? Okay. The prayer is not religious. It is a prayer to connect us in our individual healing journey as well as the community that we are a part of. Okay, let's get started. Dear Mother, Father, God, and all for our highest good, please connect us to the Reiki Masters, the Ascended Masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Katumi, our archangels, our ancestors, spirit animals, spirit guides, and all for our highest vibrational good. Let us move forward in our evolutionary path, letting go of people, situations, and circumstances that are no longer serving us. Let us also transform our hearts so that we may be receptive to our purpose, as well as bringing the greatest value for ourselves in the communities that we're in. And I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Let it go. So for a traditional Reiki healing, we're going to do traditional Reiki hand symbols. We're going to do a lot of hand movement. And I'm also going to scan your aura just to see what's going on here. When we're doing this as a group healing, we're scanning these commonalities that we're all experiencing right here. And if you're interested in something individual, then of course you would go to a practitioner to get your individual thing. But this community is about healing as a whole. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, go ahead and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Final breath. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, you continue to breathe on your own while I do the hand symbols. Continue breathing. Giving to you and to me. Okay, and just go ahead and put your hands out like this. And just connecting together, connecting in the energy that is the universe, that is source power, so that we may be receptive. If you'd like to, you can take your left hand in a gesture of reception, as well as your right hand in a gesture of positioning. This is actually also called a Hasta Mudra. And the Hasta Mudra here represents being in a position of receiving what you need, being open to reception, as well as the boundaries, making sure that you have strong boundaries. You're not receiving every single thing out there under the sun, that you're selective in what you invite into your life. Okay, so you can keep your hands there or you can rest them, continuing to breathe here. I'm just going to start feeling at your auric field. And if I get any messages or just any kind of intuition that comes up, I will let you know. But just breathing here, and if there's anything that is bringing you to a certain area, pay attention to that. You are your master healer, so you can pay attention to those moments, and it'll definitely tell you where you need to put a little bit more effort into it. And also know if you're feeling, for some reason, the sensation to focus on your throat, It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with your throat. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be spiritual, it can be like metaphors. So maybe it's more of speaking up for yourself and less of there's endocrine issues or thyroid issues. A lot of times those things go hand in hand. So if you've had a history of certain things, like for example with the thyroid, you most likely have had issues when you were younger. Just checking your neck. Issues when you were younger, speaking up or being silenced or things like that. A lot of things around the voice. So today I feel really called to do crown chakra work. Your crown chakra is your top chakra. Your crown chakra is the highest elevation, your first being your root and your last being your crown. And it's what I call being connected to your higher self. That higher self sees the macro view, and it's different from your brow chakra, what's right there. Your brow chakra is more psychic. It sees the vision, it sees the future, it sees the path that you want to materialize. But the crown chakra is all about a knowing that everything's going to be all right, and knowing that you are on the right path. Less about the actual path itself and more about it's okay. You're on the right plan, the big thing. It's kind of like a map. If you have a map, the brow chakra is the path you're taking. But the crown chakra is the map itself. And you can see that like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm on this map. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out this opalite. And I felt really called to opalite in general higher chakra movement. And I think that we do a lot just working with your aura here. We do a lot in the community of grounding down, working through those really emotionally or physically tough times. And I want to be more conscious and taking us up to and bringing us to this higher vibrational energy. Rooting down is like building a strong foundation. It's necessary for the house, but you got to continue to build up. You got to build the walls, the windows. You got to do the interior decorating and all of these things so that you can build this fortress that is your purpose and your heart and your hope. So I'm just letting you just look at that opalite and receiving any kind of energy here that you feel deeply connected to here. Sometimes opalite has these beautiful reflections, and just wanting to capture that for you so that you have the opportunity to benefit from this as much as possible. Okay. Now I'm going to just take it and just rub it against your forehead. And so it might feel a little cool. But it's a movement of upward mobility, a movement of consciousness, a movement to connect to your higher self. And in a moment, I'm going to show you how we can actually connect to our higher self. Okay. So still doing that, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my left hand forward, which is the hand of pulling out. I'm going to take this. I'm going to stick it right behind your head, putting it now on the back of your head. And I'm just going to take some gentle movements of pulling out. And what I'm pulling out is more clearing out the clutter. We'll go in and we'll clean our house out. And that might be more visually in front of us. But when it starts to do, or we start to work on the internal work, emotional, mental health, energetic health, all of these things, it's much harder to do. And so this is just to encourage the movement. You can also do this yourself by getting a candle, setting an intention or a prayer that it be the highest of healing. I want to say mobility, but that's not the word I'm trying to think of. The highest experience of energetic transformation. Set that intention in the candle and then send any just clutter into the candle, a transformational flame of Saint Germain, so it can move on to its next evolutionary path. Okay, So just swirling out still here, just taking out anything that's just no longer serving you. Feeling this swirling motion because it's like things are very much so cyclical. You do things over and over again, but instead of it being a circle, it's more of like a spiral. You're experiencing similar things over and over again, but each experience is still unique. So what we're trying to get you to do is move out of these paths that no longer serve you, and you got to do that by letting some things go. I was going to use another analogy, and then I was like, oh, okay. I think they get it. Okay, and so I'm feeling almost like a little movement here of taking out, more of like an aggressive taking out, or I'll use different language. I'll say an assertive taking out. So just breathe here. Okay. Sending that air upwards, and then as you exhale, sending that air down. Down is good movement too. It is a gesture of manifesting, bringing the consciousness into the physical. Good job. Okay. Smoothing it on out. Now, what I was talking about, connecting to your aura, connecting to your higher self, this is how you do it. Just make sure you're relaxed and just start to breathe deeply, but I'm going to let you breathe at your own pace. And I want you to breathe in this higher vibrational energy that I'm going to be sending. And exhale, you're releasing and letting something go. Continue to breathe at your own pace with that, whatever that is, shallow or deep breaths. Breathing in that energy. And exhale, letting something go. There's a balance of bringing in and letting things go. Now I want you to visualize this figure in front of you. And the figure is very familiar. You notice that it's familiar eyes, nose, mouth, ears, cheeks, head, shoulders, arms, legs, hands, fingertips. Even the personality is very, very familiar. And once you start to just really focus in on this figure, you see a light shine, and you notice that it is yourself. But yourself looks a little different. And what's so different is the demeanor. Yourself that you're looking at, this figure, there's no fear. There's no confusion. There's no extreme of emotions. What you notice about this self is a certainty. So I want you to reach out and take the hand of yourself. This is your higher self. And as soon as you touch those hands, I want you to feel this energy jolt through your body. And what it feels like ultimately is peace and calm. To know that there's nothing to worry, that anything you've ever gone through or will go through, it is okay. That there is a greater oversight and a greater protection to you. And so, just continue to breathe together, allowing this higher self to just receive that energetic feeling. And as you take in, of course, you gotta put out, so you release things that are no longer serving you, letting it go. And your higher self, no matter what you're going through, whether it is crisis or good things in your life, your higher self will always have a very balanced personality. They're always going to be able to see, the bigger picture. So don't feel like you only can come to your higher self in times of crisis. You can also come to your higher self in times of celebration to see, where should I go next? And you'll get that balanced answer you need. So continue to breathe here, still with your higher self. And I want you to think of a question. It can be whatever comes up. It really doesn't matter. Whatever the first thing that comes up, honor that. And I want you to go ahead and ask your higher self. Ask them the question. Now, whatever comes up for you, whatever that first intuitive response that is your answer. Now, if you need some more clarity, go ahead and ask another question, ask a follow-up. So for example, if you ask your higher self, I don't know, what am I gonna do next career-wise? And your higher self says something like work with children, or whatever it is, whatever that energy is for you. If you're like, well, I've never worked with children before, you can ask a follow-up question like, in what way? How should I? Should I join a daycare? Should I become a teacher? And just work with yourself there. Now, I tell you all the time to have a meditation practice at least 5 minutes a day, and you could be doing this in your meditation practice. And I tell you that even if you feel like you have no time, I promise you, go sit in the bathroom. If you're somewhere where there's a single stall, go into a single stall. Invest in some earplugs. They're super cheap, and just really zone out in that moment for 5 minutes to balance yourself. I know it's a little hard to clear the monkey mind, but just balance yourself, and I think that you'll get a lot of intuitive wisdom that you need, and it becomes so enticing that you want to just be there for longer, which you can most definitely grow into. But I want you to honor this relationship here. Are there any more questions you want to ask? Feel free to ask yourself. Okay. You can continue to ask, and I'm going to work on your aura field just to allow you to be more receptive, clear in thought, but continue to communicate with your highest self. I'm going to be doing some Metatron hand positionings. Okay. Continue. Good job. If you just want to be receptive and you're not asking any more questions, just be open. Heart can be open, hands can be up. They can be on your legs and just up like this. I'm going to continue to work. I'll give you a couple more moments to just wrap it up with your higher self. Then we'll get into gratitude. Okay. Good job. Sorry about the bump. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get into the gratitude. Now I want you to look at your higher self, still holding hands with your higher self. Now I want you to look in the eyes of your higher self and say, thank you. I love you. I appreciate your knowledge, and I promise I will ask for help when I need it. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate your knowledge, and I promise I will ask for help when I need it. One more. Thank you. I love you, and I promise I will ask for help when I need it. Okay, gotcha. Now you'll slowly notice that your higher self will start to drift away. But it's only a projection of what you have within you. Your higher self is always with you, always connected to you, connected almost to your body, as if like you ever hear of something like astral projection and things like that. Not necessarily that concept, but connected to you, always there. So even if you're not seeing your higher self now, you're letting that energy of yourself go. It's always there. You can always ask a question in your mind, especially when you practice with this and become very intuitive. Now, I just want to take a special moment to really just have your heart receptive and open and strong with firm boundaries. And I want you to just take a moment to think of one person or a group of people, a community that has been so wonderful and so receptive and so foundational during your healing journey. These people that you just want to celebrate and you want to just pay homage to them. You can do so now. and just being appreciative to the universe that they found their way to you, probably very effortlessly for you as well. I just take the moment myself to really think about my grandmother, my grandma Brenda. She has transitioned, but when she was alive, she is the reason why I have this personality. She is the person who anchored down this metaphysical spiritual work. She's also the person who allowed me to be receptive to religion. And what I mean by that is that she was a very curious person, a very well-read person. She was Baptist, so she would go to church and she would have these conversations with her pastor about, you know what, this is a contradiction and that's a contradiction. But she finessed it so well that it was never in a way that turned people off. It was always in a way of higher vibrational energy. And that's why I talk about this community, that when we share comments, we only share things for the highest vibrational good, because it's okay to be critical, to be curious, to do all of these things, but it's the intention and how we present it that really matters. So I actually asked her when I was younger. I myself felt like, oh, this is a contradiction. I want nothing to do, or I just was kind of like very numb to it. And I said, why do you go to church if there are contradictions? And she said, I go to church because my mama went to church and my mom's mom went to church, and I go there to be with my people. And I think that was so transformative for me. Me in a spiritual path and me in an intersectional path, me as a woman of color, to understand that here is a woman who was well read and was not afraid to have her own thoughts or form her own understanding of the world, but at the same time had the compassion to want to be there for her people. She was one of those people who participated in protests, in sit-ins, and all of these things, but yet at the same time had this path. And I know that even in my own story and in my own journey, I've sometimes bumped against the systemic journey as well as the spiritual journey. So I thought that was so beautiful, and it let me know that it's not the dogma that really matters, but it is the experience of community, and you can find community anywhere. And my highest intention is to bring community here at Reiki Healing Hope, especially for those, spiritual misfits who want a connection to God, source, whatever you want to call or feel comfortable calling. The universe want to do that spiritual work, may or may not be a part of a religious feeling, but know that there's not a specific way that you have to think or you have to believe to be here. Just being receptive, and you are enough here. And to heal you if you've had any kind of negative experience with religion or with any type of energy, knowing that God is always there for you, the universe, source, whatever you feel comfortable calling, this energy that touches us all. And really, this energy is just unconditional love. That's all it really is. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. I want you to tell you that you did a fantastic job. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Okay. I'm going to just do some symbols here. Disconnect myself. Okay, good job. Well, until next time, I had such a fantastic job. I had such a fantastic job. And if no one said it to you, I'm going to go ahead and say it to you. I love you. I'm so excited for what you have coming in front of you. Anchor down in your communities, and most importantly, anchor down in your heart.